Hari Om. We shall chant from verse number 20. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati sukham atyantikam yattad buddhigrahyamatīndriyam vetti yatra na chaivahyam stitaschalati tattvataha yam labdhva cha param labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanyitam sanischayena yuktavyaha yogo nirvinna cetasa sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvana sheshataha manasevendriyagramam viniyamya samantataha शनै शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्. So Bhagwan defines what is yoga. It is that when the chitta is withdrawn and placed in the self, one experiences supreme happiness, and having gained which, one understands that there is no greater gain than this. Yam labdhva cha aparam labham manyate nadikam tataha. So this yoga is defined as viyoga only. Viyoga from our association with dukkha. Vidya, tam vidya, dukkha sanyoga viyoga. Viyogam yoga samnitam. So nischayena yoktavyaha. With firm resolve, one should follow this path. With firm resolve. See, in Shravanam, we have to take the help of, means we have to listen to the teacher. We have to take help of the teacher. By ourselves, we cannot study the scriptures. We need guidance. In Mananam, we have to use our rational thinking to understand, and our experiences to understand what is taught. In that Mananam also we can take help of the teacher, we can take help of our classmates, we can discuss and understand. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonya tat prabodhanam. We can discuss with others also. But in case of meditation, one has to go alone. We can take the blessings of our teacher, we take the blessings of God, but we have to walk this path alone. So, for that, one should have that firm resolve. So, sanishchayena yoktavyaha yogaha anirvinna chetasa, without getting bored, without getting tired, without feeling impatient, we should pursue this path with full strength and power. So, yogaha anirvinna chetasa. And briefly, Bhagavan indicates what is this dhyana. He says, first you drop all kamnas created by your imagination. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshatah. Then control your senses with your mind. And thereafter, slowly and steadily withdraw this mind and place it in the self. With a firm, persevering intellect, slowly and steadily withdraw the mind and place it in the self. Placing it in the self means what? Shankaracharya ji writes, Atma sanstham, Atmani sansthitam, Atma eva sarvam, na tataha anyat kinchid asti, iti evam Atma sanstham. That firm understanding should be there, that other than Atma, nothing is there. Other than Atma, nothing is there. See again, let us take the example of gold and gold ornaments. Suppose I show you a bangle. What is this bangle? What is this? Gold. One can look at that as gold. One can look at that as bangle also. One can look at that as gold bangle also. So those who don't know that the cause or the material cause of that bangle is gold will be just looking at the form, and they might know the name but doesn't know that it is made up of gold. So you just see the form, you know the name without knowing the essence. Other person, he can see the gold. Even the form is present, the name is present, but within that he sees gold. Similarly, this world is like a golden bangle. It is like a Brahma bangle, you can say. The ornament of Brahma. But when we don't know that Brahma, we only see the name and form. We only acknowledge the world without understanding the material cause of this world. But through study of the scriptures, when we come to know that the essence, the cause of this world is that Brahma, and that Brahma is my own self, then even when we are seeing this world, the thought should be maintained in the mind that everything is Brahma, or everything is that Atma, Shuddha Atma. To maintain that understanding at all time is called placing the mind in the self. It is not something like a laddu you keep in the vessel or something. It is the understanding has to be maintained that Atma alone is there, nothing other than that. So Nididhyasan is a continuation or a further step after Mananam, after understanding. This I keep repeating actually. You must be getting tired of my repetition, but what to do? That is what it is. Because that is how it is. For example, we are on this earth. If you look up at night, you will see the moon, if it is there. So I am saying I am down here and moon is up there. Okay? But really speaking, for people who are there in America and all, for them the moon is down and we are upside down for them. Or if you just imagine, all of us are hanging with our legs on our earth upside down only. No? We are upside down actually, with our head down, but that we call up. So if we just use our imagination, we will actually understand the position of ourself, our body on this earth. But in our day-to-day vyavhar, it is different. When we look at the world, the earth, it looks flat. But our understanding is there that it is not flat, it is spherical in shape. So, though the eyes are giving some other information, the buddhi tells us that information is true at the level of the eyes, but it is not true actually. Similarly, our senses, our mind may be giving us some other information, but with the help of the scriptures, when I have understood that everything is Atma, I have to maintain that understanding. That is the thing of niridhyasan. इसको बनाए रखना चाहिए. One should maintain that understanding. So, Atma Sanstham Manak Kritva Na Kinchid Api Chintayet. Let no other thought come. Let no other thought come and disturb this understanding. Let no other thought come and shake us from this understanding. It should become as firm as possible. So that is the practice of this dhyana. See, Vedanta, when they use the dhyana, it's not some mechanical process. It is not about breathing and about chanting some mantras or about focusing our attention somewhere just like that, but it is maintaining the understanding. See, for example, sometimes we understand certain things and its effect is seen on our body also. You crack a joke and suddenly we start laughing. That is an obvious expression, but you tell story of some ghost and all at night, on Amavasya night, out in the open. So your ghost story, when you is told, then you try to imagine the whole thing, and the effect is seen in our body also. The hairs will start standing on, and hair raising experience will be there. Otherwise, also you might have your own concept about ghost and all, but when that thought is not brought, no hair raising happens. But when you bring that whole bhava in your heart, the effect is seen on the body also. Similarly, I may have understood that I am Brahma. To maintain that understanding, it might not remain all the time. One has to maintain that understanding. That is called meditation, nididhyasan. So, aham brahmasmi, that understanding, it's not about japa. It is not japa of aham brahmasmi. It is the understanding that I am Brahma. That should be kept in the mind, in the antakarana, and no other thoughts should be entertained. So, atma sanstham manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. But even if we try it, the thoughts will run away. The mind will run away somewhere else. Other thoughts will come. We try to maintain this understanding, but it cannot be retained all the time. Mind will get distracted. So under this circumstance, what should we do? That is said now in the next verse. Bhagavan says, Yato yato nischarati manaschañchalam asthiram tatastato niyammaitad atmanneva vasham nayet yato yato nischarati manaschañchalam asthiram ततस्ततो नियम्येतद् आत्मन्नेव वशं नयेत्. यतो यतो निश्चरति मनश्चंचलम अस्थिरम. This our mana is chanchalam and asthiram. Chanchal means it doesn't remain in one focused on one topic or one object for a long time. It shifts from one subject to other very fast, very unsteady. Suppose I am thinking of one object, immediately the mind will run towards something else. You will find some people, even while talking and all, they will start with one subject, and before you can breathe out, they have already changed the subject. Then again another subject, another subject, another subject. So the mind doesn't remain at one for long. That is how the mind is generally is. It starts with, sometimes we find that people start discussing some high, subtle topic of Brahma, but slowly, steadily that topic shifts to some person, and finally it reaches some market and all, and about shopping. Kahan Brahma, kahan ye. But it happens. Why it happens? Because mind by nature is chanchal and asthiram. Why mind is chanchal and asthiram? Because a chanchal and asthiram mind is required for our vyavhar in this world. See, when I am walking, that every moment I have to see and take decisions and take my steps. So if mind gets stuck with one thing, I will not be able to walk properly. I will not be able to do any action in this world. Mind, if it is stuck on one thing, it will not be able to move forward. Because at one time, the mind can do only one thing. Therefore, sometimes it is dangerous. Suppose you are driving and at the same time you are talking, can be dangerous on a phone. Otherwise also, but on phone. Then some people listen to pravachan while driving. That is another dangerous thing. Suddenly Swamiji says, keep quiet, silent, withdraw your mind, and you are driving. So it becomes very difficult. Means you have to tell your mind that whatever he says, don't listen to it. Otherwise there will be chaos and confusion. So it is required, it is for the requirement for the mind is that it should be chanchal for our vyavhar in this world. Because if it gets stuck with one thought or it gets stuck with one idea, we will not be able to do any vyavhar, interaction in this world. So mind by nature is chanchal, which is good. Chanchal is not a negative thing in that sense. It is good. The faster, the quicker the mind moves here, there, we will be able to do our work in a very quick way also. For example, some in sports and all, the mind has to be very chanchal in order to take quick decision and respond to the situation there. In football, if you are playing and all, you can't be just steadily focusing on this, and then by the time that goal ho jayega aapka. So, the mind is chanchal for a purpose which is, for the sake of this world. But this chanchalta is a great obstacle when it comes to meditation. You can't. So, we have the capacity to bring one thought, bring one idea, bring one concept in our mind. We have the capacity to retain it also. Mind wants to change subject, change topic very fast. So it is a constant struggle with such a mind to maintain a particular. So for that, one has to practice. So when we practice constantly, the mind learns to remain steady also whenever required. So whenever we are doing our sadhana, if we start with japa, japa is also a technique by which we can maintain the mind on one thought, on one idea. Or we do puja and all, that also mind is maintained on one particular type of thought, only of Bhagwan. So when this is practiced for a long time, our upasana, japa, even karma yoga, the mind start becoming more and more steady whenever required. And whenever required, it can remain chanchal also. If we want to interact with the world, do some activity, the mind can go from one topic to other. So Bhagwan says that sometimes when this becomes an obstacle in the path of meditation, you want to maintain the understanding that I am Brahma. Again and again, some distraction will come. I have understood that I am Brahma, but still, because of past samskars of the mind, and also because of some outer distraction, the mind can go to some other topic. It is quite possible. So, when such a thing happens, what should we do? Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram. Because mana is by nature chanchal and astir. It is unsteady and fickle. So it will go away from the understanding that I am Brahma. At that time, what should I do? Bhagavan says, tatas tato niyamye tada. Whenever the mind goes away, catch it, be alert, be awake, understand that it has gone, catch it. Tatas tato niyamya etad atmani eva vasham nayet, and place it again in the self. Place it in the understanding that I am that self, that supreme self which is Brahma. Wherever the mind goes, there itself you come to notice that it is the self. This is just a shift in our vision. Shift in our vision. For example, suppose I show you one poster, let us say, on which if I write the word red in blue ink, I write the word red in blue ink and tell you that you focus on the color. Sometimes they give this puzzle actually, it's quite interesting. That different colors are written, red, blue, green, yellow and all. I mean, the letters are written, but the word doesn't match the color. Red is written in blue, blue is written in green, green is written in yellow. And you are told that you just have to tell the colors, not what is written. It's tough. Because the mind has got the habit of reading the words. But you have to go little beyond words to see the color. This is just an example. Similarly, the mind has got the habit of seeing the name and form. We have to go little beyond the name and form to comprehend the self. So, yato yato nischarati manaschanchalam astiram. Wherever the mind goes, mind will go in some name and form only. Bhagavan says, there itself, you don't withdraw. It doesn't mean that you have to bring that mind from somewhere. There itself you see the presence of Atma. It's very interesting. Here Shankaracharya ji also he writes, कि तस्मात् तस्मात् शब्दादेः निमित्तात् नियम्य तद निमित्तं याथात्म्य निरूपणेन आभासीकृत्य वैराग्य भावनया च एतद् मन आत्मनि एव वशं नयेत्. कि wherever the mind goes, there itself you see that self. Withdraw the mind from that name and form through vairagya and see the presence of that self. So in this way, because the self is not only, we have understood the self is not only within this body, but it is the very substratum, it is the very Aadhar of everything. It is not only the Aadhar of this world, but it is the very support of all the thoughts, all the emotions, everything. The very basis of everything is that Atma. So wherever the mind goes means it will go in names and form. There itself you try to focus your attention on the Swarup, on the nature, on that Swarup. Just as the other example of this written letters on this book. So it is written in black ink. So the letters are different, but wherever my eyes goes, I can see the black ink. But now and then the eyes will try to read what is there. But instead of reading, just focus on the black ink. Similarly, instead of seeing the name and form, focus on that Atma. So that is what is said. Ki yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamastheram tatastato niyamye etad atmani eva vasham nayet. So this meditation, what we are talking about in Vedanta, is not a mechanical or some sort of ritual or some sort of steps. Steps in the sense some just do some breathing and this and that. But it is about understanding. This is the path of understanding which culminates in realization. Understanding leads to realization. Not action leading to realization. Not imagination. When you use your action in the path of spirituality, that is karma yoga. When you use imagination on the path of spirituality, that is upasana. But when you use your understanding, that is the right path which will lead to realization, direct realization of the self. So tatastato niyamya etad atmani eva vasham nayet. Wherever the mind runs away here and there, bring it back on the understand that I am that Brahma. So this is a constant struggle, constant practice. Alertness is required. We should be very alert. Like that Mullah Nasruddin, he was going on his donkey, and suddenly the donkey started running like anything. So somebody asked him, "Oh Mullah, where are you running?" He said, "Why are you asking me? You ask the donkey." "I am not running, donkey is running." Similarly, when the mind runs, sometimes we also run behind the mind. But when the mind runs, we should be able to see it, remaining as a witness all the time. So remaining the witness, I can see the mind and maintain the understanding, Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the practice. Further, Bhagavan says, Prashanta manasam hyenam yoginam sukham uttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham prashanta manasam hyenam. Prashanta manasam hi येनम योगिनम सुखम उत्तमम उपैति शांत रजसम ब्रह्मभूतम अकल्मषम प्रशांत मनसम. The yogi, the dhyana yogi, whose mind has become prashant. See, mind is active. In the mind there is this understanding of Brahma, but this understanding of Brahma is not creating any disturbance. This prashanti is not of sleep. Prashanti is not of dullness. It is of a deep understanding that I am that Brahma, everything is Brahma. So there is that supreme peace. See, like any object in space is constantly moving. Vayu is moving, fire is moving, earth is moving. Everything in space is constantly moving. But space itself is absolutely still. Why? Because it is all pervading. It is everywhere. There is no place where it is not there for it to move. It is everywhere. When one identifies with this space, one also will feel that peace and that quietude. Similarly, that Brahma is all pervading. And when the mind is placed in Brahma, that mind also becomes absolutely still. Samartha Ramdas Swamiji, a great saint from Maharashtra, he has written in Das Bodh, I think, that when we think of something moving, our mind also starts moving. When we think of something steady, our mind will also become steady. So here, prashanta manasam is that mind has become calm and peaceful. It doesn't mean that mind has gone into some trance. It doesn't mean that the mind has gone into sleep. But it means the mind is alert, awake, but only one thought is there, one understanding is there. That Aham Brahmasmi, which transcends all time, which transcends all space, which transcends all object. It doesn't get affected by change in time. That Aham Brahmasmi doesn't get affected by a change in time, change in space, change in object. So it's prashanta manasam, extremely, supremely peaceful mind. How it became so peaceful? Another reason is shanta rajasam. It has become free of all rajas, all rajogun, all impurity, and all rajogun has gone. No rajogun. Very less rajogun, you can say. Sattva gun is there. So shanta rajasam. In such a state, brahma bhutam, akalmasham, free of all other impurities also, including ignorance. So such a state, such a yogi, what happens? Brahma bhutam comes to realize that Brahma, that this Aham is Brahma. Aham is Brahma. See that Brahma, which is all pervading, which is the very source of this creation, alone is experienced within us as our own self. हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलम ब्रह्म मात्रम यहमहमिति साक्षात आत्मरूपेण भाति. That Brahma, which is indicated in our scripture as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, alone is experienced as aham, aham, aham. हमको अहम अहम का अनुभव होता है ना, मैं हूँ. Everyone has got that experience. Anyone, any exceptions here? All of us, we have this strange means very wonderful experience. I am. So even if suddenly there is total darkness, light goes away and total darkness, you will have doubt whether your neighbor is still sitting there. As soon as meditation starts, he goes away. So maybe he has gone. But you will not have any doubt whether you exist or not. Light is not required for you to know that you exist. I am, I know. When I withdraw from this world, my senses get withdrawn from this world, I am unaware of this world, I am sleeping and I am dreaming, that time also I know that I am. Even when I am not seeing the world, even when the senses are not perceiving anything of this world. You are in Delhi, but you dream that you are in Honolulu. I don't know where that place is, but I like the name. So you are unaware of the place. It might be daytime here, but you might be dreaming it is night time. So even when I am unaware of the world, I know I am. So even when the senses are not perceiving the world, you know your existence. When I am in deep sleep state, I become unaware of the world. I become unaware, there is no awareness of the mind also. Even mind is not functioning, ego is not functioning in deep sleep state. Ego is not functioning. When I wake up, I say I was. I don't say somebody else was there. I don't say something was there. I say I was there. I slept. You were present? I say yes, I was present. I did not die. Maybe you died. Maybe you are born again. No, I was present. So I recognize my own self as I. That I is actually Brahma. It is the very source of all creation. It is the very self of all beings. So that I is known, very subtle it is. And through the help of the scriptures, I come to know that I is actually Brahma. So to maintain, when I keep this meditation, keep this understanding of Aham Brahmasmi for a long time, then I come to realize that yes, I am Brahma. Thereafter, meditation is not required. Thereafter, you know that you are Brahma. Then there is whatever waking, dream, whatever, you know that you are Brahma. No distraction will disturb that understanding. No thoughts, no experience, nothing can disturb that understanding that I am Brahma. So Shanta Rajasam, all the impurities has gone, Rajogun has gone, Akalmasham, free from all kalmash. Such a yogi, Brahma Bhutam, he comes to realize that I am that Brahma. He becomes Jivan Mukta. Jivan Muktam Brahma eva sarvam iti evam nishchayavantam Brahma Bhutam. He knows that everything is Brahma. I am Brahma. Such a yogi, Sukham Uttamam Upayati, gains supreme happiness. Gains supreme happiness. See, this happiness also is difficult to comprehend and difficult to describe also. Because it is not that he becomes happy, but he becomes happiness. See, in the world we become happy, sometimes we become unhappy. So I am different and that happiness remains as though different. It comes and goes. It is not my nature. It is because of some condition of the mind that I feel happy. But here, when I come to recognize that Brahma, I become happiness. I attain supreme happiness. Sukham Uttamam Upayati. We have seen in Taittiriya Upanishad also, this happiness is greater than all the happiness of all the beings, including Brahmaji put together. All the happiness which one can experience on this world. Only the happiness, not the unhappiness. All the happiness which one can experience in Swargalok. All the happiness which one can experience in Brahmalok. Right from beginningless time till now and till future also, all that happiness, if you put it together, it is like a drop of the happiness of this Brahma. It's infinite. Infinite is much more than than anything else. So sukham uttamam sukham upayati prashanta rajasam yenam yoginam sukham uttamam upayati shanta rajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Further, Bhagavan says, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashnute yunjannevam sadatmanam. Yunjan evam sada atmanam yogi. This yogi, this dhyana yogi, evam yunjan, meditating in this way. This way means as guided by Bhagavan here. In this way, when one yogi meditates, yogam yunjan sadatmanam. Atmanam yunjan, constantly practicing to place the mind in the self. Place all the understanding in the self, which is Brahma. So yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha, free from all kalmash, free from all impurities, free from all, beginning from ignorance, all impurities. See, we have this ignorance about ourselves, which gives rise to a lot of kamana, desires, that leads to krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar and all. All these are impurities of our mind. But when we gain that proper understanding of the self, all these impurities just disappear, get dissolved. So we used to do experiment in our chemistry laboratory, the titration. You must have done titration. It was like a magic show for us, because otherwise I did not know what was happening. But you take that some liquid, put something, and it has got some other color, pink color and all usually. Then you keep putting that HCl or H2SO4 or something in that, and at a particular time suddenly the color disappears and it becomes totally colorless. How many of you have done this experiment? Thank God, otherwise you will think I am just bluffing something. Suddenly some color, everything disappears, पूरा एकदम crystal clear हो जाता है. वैसे ही when we meditate, at a point suddenly all impurities will just disappear. The mind will become as clean as it can be. So yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha, free from all kalmash. This yogi sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. Again same thing he says, he gains atyantam sukham. He gains that sukha which doesn't have any end. He gains that sukha which is infinite. See, the Brahma is indicated as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, or as Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarup. You must have heard this. Satchidananda Atma. Satchidananda Brahma. Sat means existence. Chit means knowledge. Ananda means Ananda. Now Sat we experience. I am. Everyone has got that experience. Everyone has got the experience of one's own existence. I am. Then I am aware that I am. I am conscious that I am. So that consciousness is also known. I am conscious that I am. Not only I am, but I know I am. But only thing lacking is I am not completely happy. Constantly things keep on moving. That itself is samsara. कभी खुशी कभी गम टाइप नहीं रम पम पम टाइप so it's not all the time. So that happiness is missing. And when we come to recognize ourselves as Brahma, we gain that happiness also. Therefore the focus here into the 3 shlokas on happiness. कि सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम अत्यंतम सुखम अश्नुते. One experiences atyantam sukham. Means there is no anta to this sukha. All sukha which is acquired in this world comes to an end. Even the greatest of happiness comes to an end. So it whole thing becomes like just like a game type of thing. थोड़ी देर कुछ होता है, then it comes to an end. Even attaining sukha of great other lokas and all comes to an end. Even if we become big devtas, Indra lok, Indra ban gaye, उसकी भी कोई, it doesn't last. Indra also has got his own problems. You think you have problem? Indra has got more problems. ब्रह्मा जी has got his own problem. बीच बीच में रावण वगैरह आ जाते हैं and Brahma also doesn't know what to do with him. So even after attaining the great post of devatas also, it is not lasting. It doesn't give us lasting happiness. But this is atyantam sukham, never ending joy, happiness. Why it is never ending? Because it is related to Brahma. It is the very nature of Brahma. It is gained because of our contact with Brahma. Sukhena Brahma sansparsham. This is not the sukha which is through the senses. It is not sukha because of some condition of the mind, but this is the sukha of that Brahma only, which is experienced by the yogi, by the seeker. See, it is like sleep. I will give you example of sleep. You feel happy in your sleep? Yes. For many people, they just love to sleep because we feel very happy. But very strange it is that at that moment we are unaware of it. When we wake up, we say, "No, मैं सुख से सोया." But at that time I asked you, you never said anything. So when I am actually experiencing it, there is an experience of nothing only actually there. कुछ पता नहीं, ना मुझे जगत के बारे में पता है, ना मेरे बारे में पता है. So how do you know you were happy? When I wake up, I say, no, I was very happy, Why do I say that sleep is happiness? Because when I am awake and I am about to go to sleep, sometimes I can, उसका स्पर्श हो जाता है थोड़ा थोड़ा. आपने अनुभव किया होगा, प्रवचनों में भी बहुत लोग अनुभव करते हैं कि यू आर अवेक बट थोड़ा सा नींद आने लगती है, like that you, that's called ब्रह्म स्पर्शम. ऐसे झटका हो जाता there is a nice glow on your face and all. मजा आ गया. Sometimes you know how deep you can go into sleep also. Sometimes you say, ना बहुत नींद आ रही है. अरे how do you are awake now? नहीं बहुत आ रही है. How do you know बहुत आ रही है करके? Is it some sort of big something parcel is coming? Somehow I know inside कि अभी मेरे को चांस अगर मिले तो ऐसा सो जाऊंगा मैं कि even Kumbhakarna will feel ashamed. So while awake, I can, मेरे को स्पर्श होता है उस निद्रा अवस्था का. वैसे ही while meditating, it is as though we can get the sparsha of that Brahma Sukha. Yes. So Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. One experiences supreme, infinite Sukha. So this yogi who has gained this Brahma Sukha, who has gained this Brahma Sakshatkar, how does he look at this world? How does he interact with this world? What is the state of his realization? That is now Bhagwan brings out in the next verse. He says, Sarva bhutasthamaatmanam Sarva bhutani chatmani Ikshate yoga yuktatma Sarvatra samadarshanaha Sarvabhutasthamatmanam Sarvabhutani chatmani. Ikshate yoga yuktatma Sarvatra samadarshanaha Sarvabhutastam atmanam sarvabhutani cha atmani ikshate. Yoga yuktatma, one who is yukta with this yoga, one who has placed his antakarana in the self, one who has recognized and realized that I am Brahma. One who is convinced, means realized, साक्षात्कार हो गया कि मैं ब्रह्म हूँ. जिसका ज्ञान हो गया था उसका साक्षात्कार हो गया, अनुभव हो गया. It's called yoga yuktatma. See, even after gaining the understanding that I am Brahma, nothing outside changes. The world remains as it is. World will remain as it is. Sun, the moon, the stars, the people around, everything remains as it is. Nothing happens to the body. The body remains as it is. Understanding undergoes modification in the mind and all. Because of that, the response to the world undergoes some modification. But that person is who has gained that sakshatkar, he looks at the whole world in a different vision altogether. How does he see? He says, Sarva bhutastam atmanam ikshate. He sees sarva bhutam, he sees all beings. When he opens his eyes, he looks at this world, he sees all beings. But in all the beings, he sees his own self. Sarva bhutastham atmanam ikshate. What was the statement of Ishvara, of Bhagwan Krishna? Bhagwan says, Aham atma gudhakesha sarva bhutashaya stitaha. That I am the atma of all beings. And here the realized person says, I am the atma of all beings. Because he is one only. So sarva bhutastam atmanam ikshate. Ikshate means with this understanding, with this sakshatkar, Though with the eyes he continues seeing the other body, etc., but the sakshatkar, that understanding is there, the self in me and the self in all is same, is one only. Not similar, same. It is one self only in all. So sarva bhutastam atmanam ikshate. Just imagine that you are dreaming, and in your dream you meet your friend. So your friend speaks to you, you speak to your friend. But in your dream you look at your friend as different from you. He is speaking something, sometimes you don't know what he will be speaking next. He says something. But when you wake up, you come to know that one who was you who were meeting your friend, and your friend were yourself only. You yourself were speaking through him, and you yourself were listening to him. But at that time we did not know. At that time it was Dvaita. But when I wake up, when I recollect that experience, I know it was all Advaita only. It was just play of one person only. Sometimes that one person dreams, like students, sometimes they dream that they are giving exams. And they are in that examination hall with other students. And they find that their neighbor is writing and so nicely and all, and I don't understand any question and any answer. So I am totally confused. Somehow I write, and the result also come, and I fail miserably. And that shock wakes me up. Now it's a very funny thing. You yourself were the student, you yourself were the teacher, you yourself were the one who set the paper also. And you yourself must have corrected the paper also. फिर भी fail हो गए. So, but at that time I don't know. When I am awake, I recollect that experience, I know. But in case of realization, even when the experience is going on of so-called Dvaita, as though Dvaita, he knows that it is all Advaita only. Even when the experience is telling me, experience through the senses is telling me, this body is different, your body is different, everybody is different, but that experience of Brahma gives me that understanding that the self in me is the self in all. Sarva bhutastam atmanam ikshate, and sarva bhutani cha atmani, and sees everything in his own self. This is the culmination or the litmus test for realization. This is called Sarvatma Bhav. The realized person sees his own self in everyone, knows that he alone is in everyone. That is the culmination of realization. If he thinks that, I am just a witness of this world, or I am different from this world, that is not complete understanding, that is not complete realization. One should know the self in me is the self in all. He continues seeing the world, he continues seeing the people, but knows that I alone am there as the self of all. So sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani, and he sees the entire world with all beings in his own self. I am the very support, I am the very adhar of this world, and I alone exist in everyone. This Bhagavan himself had also told to Arjuna. Later on, actually, Bhagavan will tell more things about himself, and then he will actually show to Arjuna that, Arjuna, see this, in the sun, that light you can see, I am there. The moon, the light, I am there. In the river, I am there. In the mountain, I am there. In the human beings, I am there. In animals, bird, plant, devtas, I am there. In the books, I am there. In the Vedas, I am there. Everywhere. So he showed that he is the self of all beings. And in the 11th chapter, Bhagavan showed that the whole world is in me. He has though demonstrated. And that is another mysterious thing. So here, the realized person comes to recognize everyone as expression of his own self. He sees his self in all. Sarva bhutastham atmanam and sarva bhutani cha atmani ikshate yoga yuktatma. Who is this yoga yuktatma? Sarvatra samadarshanaha, who has seen that aham brahmasmi, who has got this, then sarvatra samadarshan. That sama is another name of Brahma only. He sees that Brahma in all. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Siya Ramamay Sab Jagajani Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. सब में एक ही तत्व है, सब में एक ही वो परमात्मा है. So सर्वत्र समदर्शनः. This is the nature, the expression of the realization of this yogi. In the next words, Bhagavan, instead of here when it is said he sees in everyone he sees his own self, same thing he says that in everyone he sees Ishvara, in everyone he sees Paramatma. What it means is Atma and Ishvara or Paramatma is one and the same Tattva. We will see that shloka and some more shlokas tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.